Welcome to another bonus episode of Timm Talk, the podcast usually about the DC animated universe, co-created by Bruce Timm. I am Chris Lorge.
I'm Cameron Dexter.
And today we are taking a detour, a much-needed detour from Zeta.
When you sent me that text of like, hey, do you want to not talk about Zeta this week? I nearly fell into tears.
You have spent basically 2 days straight at Disneyland. Factoring that in, was that the best moment of your week when you realized you didn't have to watch Zeta?
It was. I was at Disney for 2 days in order to balance out the pain of what Zeta brings me. I need 2 full days of magic.
Well, we can hear the Disney in your voice today, Cameron.
Yeah.
I mean, that voice right now, it's gravelly. I'm hearing it in the cans. It's very sexy. It's working for you.
You know, I try sometimes.
Yeah.
I really try to bring the audio smolder.
And you got a bit of a tan going on right now. You've been out in the sun. Your beard's looking good. Cameron, I'm not sure if we're going to be on opposite ends of this couch by the time this podcast is done. I think I'm just going to keep scooting closer and closer.
No, we're going to keep this computer between us.
And this brick wall that you've put up between us. Well, though, we are back this week, taking a break from Zeta to talk about Spider-Man Far From Home. Because, of course, we love to cover these things when they come out. But we sat down to record and, we actually don't have that much to say really enough about the movie other than we both really, really enjoyed it.
It's really, really good. Everyone should go see it. I mean, if you listen to this podcast, you probably go see these movies already.
One would hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we figured, there's also been a lot of news this week, so maybe we'll be kind of a split episode. Yeah. We'll do news, we'll do Spider-Man. We'll cover a bit of it. So lots of stuff did come out this week. A lot of trailer talk. But Cameron, where do you want to start with all the things that have been going on this week in entertainment news?
Well, let's start with the trailers. Let's start with let's do Jumanji first, because that's probably the worst of the stuff we got this week.
What?
Which is sad. I mean, I say that, but it's still a good trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I love this trailer.
Yeah, I think it's very. I love seeing The Rock try and be Danny DeVito.
It's so fucking fantastic. Yeah. For me, the best moments of the trailer are actually Kevin Hart doing Danny Glover. Mm-hmm. And I'm not the biggest Kevin Hart fan, but I'll be damned if I don't laugh my ass off every time I see that trailer. And I have seen it a lot.
Yeah.
Every time I go to an AMC.
It plays twice.
Oh my God, it plays so many times. But it's the one trailer that I actually enjoy when I see it. It was kind of like the Mission, or not the Mission Impossible, Men in Black International trailer. Mm-hmm. It would always make me laugh whenever I would see it. It would bring me a little spot of joy.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the film, heard it's terrible.
It's not great.
Yeah, probably not going to see it, but I am super excited for Jumanji.
Yeah. I'm very curious who the other two will turn into, because I assume they're going to be in the game somewhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like one of them is going to be Nick Jonas.
Oh, it's very possible. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Probably. I bet the hot girl is going to be Nick Jonas, and she's going to just love being another hot person.
Do you think... I'm trying to think who else we saw in the trailer. We saw a bit of Aquafina in there. Do we think maybe that the main guy Spencer is going to end up being Aquafina?
I have no idea. My first thought was he's going to be the villain.
Oh, that could be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know if I know who the villain is. Who was the villain in the last one? Was there a villain?
Yes, because they were racing to the Panther Mountain thing. I don't remember who the actor was.
I'm going to be honest. I actually don't remember much of that movie other than the fact that I really enjoyed it.
I'm going to throw out my broad guess.
Okay.
Ray Fiennes.
I mean, I would love that.
Yeah.
If that were the case. I mean, speaking of Rafes, is it Rafe Spall? I feel like he pops up as the sort of hapless villain in so many things these days. Mm-hmm. I do love him. He's very handsome.
Let's see. It was this guy, Bobby.
Bobby Cannavale?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He was in. I love him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the new one looks super fun. Like the twist in this one is when they go back into the game, The Rock is now embodied by the grandfather of the original main character,
Danny DeVito.
And then Kevin Hart is his friend, Danny Glover. Mm-hmm. And then Fridge, the big guy, is now Jack Black.
Yes.
And then Martha, the redhead, I think is still the same. I think she's the one that's
She's still Karen Gillian.
But there's some really good gags in that trailer.
I mean, the thing is, it's the exact same trailer as the first one.
Yeah.
But they just know the formulas. I mean, this is like the impression game, the movie.
Yeah. And it's working for me.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it works really well.
Because I've talked about this a little bit, that I haven't loved The Rock the last few years. I miss when he was a little bit more fun and self-deprecating. And the Jumanji movies for me are the exception there, where those are the movies where he's playing a little bit more against type or making fun of his persona.
Yeah, they push it so far up.
Yeah.
That it's comedic.
Which I really love, because I feel like now he's just become...
weaknesses, none.
Exactly, yeah. And smoldering intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he mostly just plays Luke Hobbs now and everything. And don't get me started on the fucking Fast and the Furious trailer.
Are we going to talk about the Fast and Furious trailer?
So, I mean, I'm going to get dragged to that movie by you and Shane.
Yeah, you will be clawing your way.
You and Shane will be
theater.
like battling with Jason to see who's going to drag me to that fucking movie.
Yes.
The weirdest thing is there's one aspect that I'm actually looking forward to. And this sounds asinine considering what movie it is. I'm actually looking forward to the dialogue the most. That is the only part of this trailer. No, the only parts of the trailer that I enjoy are their chemistry between those two. I think those two actually are really funny. All of the action to me looks terrible because it's all just really generic CGI smashy stuff. None of it's practical anymore. All that looks terrible. Also do love Vanessa Kirby, so that part's kind of fun for me.
I do really like her. I'm excited to see her.
She is actually rumored to be in consideration for Catwoman in The Batman, and I think that is brilliant.
Okay.
Casting. But yeah, no, super excited for Jumanji. That looks really, really fun. We might have to do an episode on that. What other trailers did you watch this week?
Let's see. We had some Disney news. Let's do Current War, because that one looks great.
Oh yeah, it does.
There's not really a lot to say about it.
No, I mean, so it's a movie about the battle between
Tesla, Edison.
Exactly, alternating current and direct current. This movie was actually made a few years ago.
I just learned that. It was out in 2017.
Yeah, and basically when the Weinstein scandal broke.
Yeah, this is pre-Spider-Man Tom Holland.
But it would have been post.
They would have filmed it, but the movie wouldn't have been out
Civil War.
Yet. Oh, okay, yeah.
So he would have been out as Spider-Man at that point, and he had other roles too. Did you ever see The Lost World of Z with Charlie Hunnam and Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland?
I started it twice and fell asleep 15 minutes in both times.
I mean, that's fair. It's slow, but based off a recommendation from a friend of mine, I watched it. It's really, really good.
Okay, good.
Really
it was
good.
on HBO for a while. I think they took it off by now, but I kept trying to watch it on HBO.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend checking it out. But I mean, that had come out, so Tom Holland was a bit of a name. But yeah, it's Tom Holland, Michael Shannon, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah, I was like Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Great British cast playing America's founders.
Exactly. Actually,
America's
yes,
forefathers,
you're right. There's only one American in that cast. And it's Michael Shannon. But yeah, that movie.
The most American.
Oh, he's so American. Did you ever see Revolutionary Road?
I did not.
This is a movie he got his Oscar nomination for. He's great in it. I really hated that movie though.
Okay, he's such a fascinating character.
He is. Because I want to say there was maybe a Nerdist podcast.
There was, yeah.
He's so interesting. He's really
he still
funny.
has a flip phone.
Yeah.
That only has I think he said 2 photos on it.
Do you think Michael Shannon's going to become the next Bill Murray? In just that weird, disaffected, disconnected persona?
I don't think so, because I don't think he's funny. I mean, he has the ability to be funny, but that's not his general presence.
Yeah.
His general presence is a little too intimidating.
Very intense.
Yeah. I think he enjoys playing kind of the mean crazy as opposed to the oblivious crazy.
Yeah. I had more stuff with Michael Shannon, the better.
Although I could see Michael Shannon in Groundhog Day.
Oh, now there's an idea. I'd watch that.
Yeah,
I'd totally watch that remake.
It fits so well.
It does actually. Why does something about that feels familiar? I've heard that before. Maybe he's in a different movie with a similar premise. Wait, is he in that?
Is he?
Is he in that as the cameraman or something? For some reason, I'm already associating Michael Shannon with Groundhog Day, and I'm not quite sure why.
Let me go to Google.
That would be so bizarre, but some part of me, that feels right.
Yeah.
What?
Michael. So the article title is Michael Shannon remembers the time Bill Murray humiliated him on the set of Groundhog Day.
That's why we're both thinking this. I think he tells that story in that podcast interview.
Yes. Yeah.
Fuck, that's right.
He was a teenage background actor in Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Subconscious reconnection. That's crazy.
Michael Shannon just incepting the both of us.
Yeah.
Into casting him in a Groundhog Day
It's just been
remake.
one big grand scheme to slowly be more and more like the character.
I think he should play the lead and then also still that random background character that just aged up.
Mm-hmm.
There's they look at each other and then don't talk about it.
Yeah. Think of all the theories.
My God. Oh yeah. It's like, is that another version of him that's like trapped there?
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah. And then it could be a sequel for some people where that kid has also been reliving the same day alongside him for the past 40 years.
See, that is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Because you've seen Groundhog Day, right?
I have seen Groundhog Day.
One of the things that I love about it is they never explain it.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. I don't think you need to sometimes.
That's the best part of like 80s and 90s movies is no one had to explain anything.
No. And I feel like now
we're too bogged down by it.
You have to explain it. And sometimes that actually ruins it.
Mm-hmm. I think we are starting to get out of that a little bit. Where now, because especially in Spider-Man, which we're about to talk about, when they talk about kind of the multiverse, instead of, because, compared to The Flash, where there was a full episode where they literally rolled out a chalkboard. It's like, here's how multiverse works.
Yeah.
Where in this one, it's kind of 3 sentences. Or even in Into the Spider-Verse, where it's literally talked about
in the background
under main dialogue.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened was back in the day, filmmakers either the audience won't care about these things or they are like too dumb to like really think about them too much, so don't bother addressing them.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point in the studio, it's like, oh, like maybe our audience will ask these questions, we should answer them. And then when you answer them, sometimes it ruins it. I think Us is a good example of that. Did you see Us?
I've not seen Us.
Great idea. As soon as they try to explain why, for me, the mythology falls all apart.
I think, I'm sure it started before this, but I feel like Twitter is to blame. When we gave a voice to those dumb people that didn't get it, and now filmmakers a very loud voice, and now they're like, oh, these people are very loud, so there must be a lot of them because we hear them so loudly.
Right, they're just constantly shouting into the void, either on Twitter or on their podcasts.
Yes, and so not being able to see over that wall, assuming it's 100,000 people, when instead it's 15 holding up 3 megaphones each.
But they've stacked them like Bart Simpson.
No,
the voices just get louder and louder.
It's not stacked there. It's kind of like a cone.
Oh,
so it
okay.
sounds like it's coming from multiple places.
I love it.
I do love that moment in The Simpsons.
It's so good. Fuck, what were we talking about?
Michael Shannon's future career.
Oh yeah, the Curtain War. So that
Yeah.
So that was a Weinstein movie that was slated to come out not too long after the big story broke about obviously all of Weinstein's sexual misconduct, which is like the most euphemistic way of explaining what he did. But when the whole company was basically falling apart, that movie got basically put in turnaround, and no one knew what was going to happen with it. I'm glad to see that it's eventually coming out because it's an interesting story. I like all those actors a lot, and it's weird to say this, but it's like it's not their fault. It's not the fault of any of the filmmakers anyone involved in making it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. So I'm glad it's coming out because it looks pretty good.
I am a little upset with the delay because I feel like that movie was coming out not at the peak, but kind of just past the hump of like everyone falling in love with Tesla. And I feel like no one talks about him anymore.
Like there's that moment in the trailer where it's like nothing in this world ever will have the name Tesla on it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, did you wink into the camera when you said that?
Ding.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping it's good. Did you see the Knives Out trailer?
I have seen the Knives Out trailer.
I'm here for it.
I know, same. It looks. I mean, I love me a good murder mystery.
Oh, same. Give me a locked room murder mystery. That is my peak genre.
Yeah, bottle episode murder mystery. I'm in.
Oh, bring it on.
So we had a brief conversation about this before. There was a book that I read. That I read in middle school.
I am humbled and impressed.
Yes. That I couldn't remember the title. I remember loving it as a kid, and I haven't been able to remember the title of it for years. Probably 15 years I've been hunting for this book title. And when this movie trailer came out, I'm like, oh, that kind of reminds me of the Westing game. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's the book I've been trying to think of for the past 15 years.
You had to just not think about it, and then boom, it would come right back to you.
Yeah, and it just came to me.
No, I mean, it looks fantastic. So this is the next film to be written and directed by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
Filmmaker that I do love. Have you seen Brick? Which is
No.
his like teen neo-noir with Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So yeah, I mean, it's not a locked room murder mystery, but it's like a murder
an
noir.
unlocked room murder mystery?
Exactly.
They're
All the
allowed
doors
to leave whenever they
are
want?
open. It's out in open fields and a pasture.
They just choose not to leave.
Yeah, but it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and he's like this kid in high school, and he's basically trying to solve this murder, and so it's heightened as you would have to be to follow that plot. But it's really, really good. And then I didn't love Looper, but I liked it. And then of course I enjoyed, but still have issues with The Last Jedi. But I think he's a really talented filmmaker. And this movie looks amazing because, like we said, it's in our genre wheelhouse. But also, let me just
in our actor wheelhouse.
Exactly. Let me read through this cast here. So Chris Evans, Captain America himself. Daniel Craig, James Bond himself.
Yes.
The aforementioned Michael Shannon.
I didn't realize he was in it.
Background extra from Groundhog Day himself.
Background extra extraordinaire, Michael Shannon.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
Toni Collette. Kathleen Langford, who most people know as the main girl from 13 Reasons Why.
Yes.
Lakeith Stanfield, who I saw in, what's that Netflix movie? It's a super generic title, but it's really good. The one with Gina Rodriguez. Doesn't matter, but he's really good.
I know him from Sorry to Bother You.
Right, yeah, that was his big break. Oh, Ricky Lindholm's in it. Christopher Plummer, Don Johnson, Frank Oz.
Something Great? Is that the Netflix one?
Yeah. Someone Great, Something Great.
Someone Great, yeah.
And then is this the guy I think it is? Oh, no, that's someone different. But I mean, what a goddamn... Oh, then Anna de Armas, who was in Blade Runner 2049 and is one of the next Bond girls, too.
Yeah.
So I am here for all of it.
I know. In the trailer, it just looks fun. Like it's because we've had kind of pretty all-star casts similar to this before. Like I'm thinking Murder on the Orient had a pretty it was a fine movie, but amazing cast.
Yeah.
And there was another it's just slipped my mind. But usually when we get these star-studded casts, there's kind of like a hierarchy thing where the writer doesn't want a hierarchy, so they try and kind of like level everyone out, and I think that kind of kills some performances.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I feel like it's a fucking free-for-all.
No, it's definitely...
Anytime I feel like Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, I feel like it's a fucking free-for-all. Because no matter how much you try and balance it out, she's just going to steal everything.
I saw her in Melrose once.
Did you really?
Like from my car. And even from a distance, I was in love with her.
There's a YouTube channel that I watch. It's a gaming channel where her son was a big fan of the two guys. And so for his birthday... she went on the show with them. It was her and her son playing Mario Kart with these two gamers.
Oh my god!
And she is fucking ruthless.
I bet she is.
She's like when she starts playing, she doesn't know how the game works, and the second she figures it out, she's like, "Oh, my new purpose is to make sure I don't win, but you two are gonna lose as hard as you can."
What game were they playing?
Mario Party.
Okay. Oh my god!
It's so fun. It's like an hour-long episode. If you just want to watch people play Mario Party with Jamie Lee Curtis talking in the background, I recommend it. It's very fun.
That sounds amazing. I can just watch that on loop.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched pretty much anything with her up to and stopping at Scream Queens, which I couldn't finish.
Same.
But most of that has to do with Ryan Murphy and not her. No, I am really, really excited for this. And because you're talking about when they had these big ensemble casts, I feel like...
I was thinking of Tarantino.
Oh, yeah. Tarantino does these big casts, too. Like The Hateful Eight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I really love The Hateful Eight.
Me too.
When you get these big casts, I think it happens for one of two reasons. Either it's a movie like this, where it's really talented, big-name actors who want to work with creatives. So I think that's the same with Tarantino. Ryan Johnson's big right now. They're like, okay, like this is probably a really good project. Even if it's a small role, I bet it's going to be meaty and it's going to get a lot of attention.
Yeah.
You get people in like massive casting up for that, or for really shitty things like Valentine's Day or New Year's Eve, or all of those like big ensemble holiday movies that were trying to recapture the formula of Love Actually and never got there. And in those movies, all of the budget goes to the cast and none of it goes to getting good creatives.
It all goes to Taylor Swift.
Exactly. It's just her, and then they throw out some pittance to everybody else. Whereas this is, I think people want to be involved because of the talent.
Yeah.
And it sounds so good.
I know. I'm very excited for that one.
This is one you probably didn't see. Did you watch the Driven trailer by chance?
I don't think so.
So
describe it.
It's about John DeLorean, the man who created the DeLorean motor car and the DeLorean Motor Company.
Is this the racing one?
No, so that's Ford versus Ferrari.
Okay.
Which I'm also super excited about. So that's the story of how Henry Ford Jr. recruited Carroll Shelby, in this movie played by Matt Damon, to build a car that would beat Ferrari at Le Mans.
Yeah, I've seen that trailer. Yeah. That looks great.
That looks great.
I'm very excited.
And so that car ended up becoming the GT40 that won, I think it was like 3 or 4 years in a row. I guess it's kind of spoilers, but it's fucking history.
Wow, thanks.
But is
that the one of the intro of Speed Racer?
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Thanks.
Henry Ford also commissioned the creation of Speed Racer.
Yeah. He built the Mach 1.
Yeah, and then also in that movie is Christian Bale playing Ken Miles, the very famous driver who made it happen. But that movie looks great. But no, this is about John DeLorean, who was a highly, highly regarded automotive designer and mechanic and engineer. And then he decided to make his own car, and that became the DeLorean. But the guy was also like crazy, involved in all these drug deals, all these scams.
Yeah,
and so
he's a time traveler.
Exactly. The movie is about...
He usually goes by his nickname, Doc Brown.
Well, the funny thing is, if you watch the trailer, so Lee Pace, Ronan the Accuser, is John DeLorean. His hair looks like if you were to throw him in prison for a while, which of course happened, he would look like Doc Brown. So kind of holds up. But the movie's about the FBI agent played by Jason Sudeikis, who's kind of becomes friends with John DeLorean, but then also becomes an informant against him.
I'm thinking Mantzoukas.
Yeah, no, it's Sudeikis, who's also fantastic, and then Judy Greer's in it too. And I'm a car guy, so this all kind of falls in my wheelhouse, but it also looks really fun. Okay, as of time of recording, the Mulan trailer just dropped.
Yes,
this morning.
Literally minutes before we started filming this, recording this. We have our first teaser for Mulan, the next of the Disney live actions.
Looks great.
And the only one that I'm excited for.
Is it really the only one you're excited for?
At the moment, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the other announced one, we're going to talk about Little Mermaid in a second.
We will be indeed.
But no, this one, I know there's been some stumbles to get to where we are now. I've heard some of the ideas that were greenlit and then killed that should not have ever been greenlit. But no, this looks great. For me, it's very reminiscent of the movie Hero, which we kind of talked about before.
Right.
The Jet Li film from 2002.
Jet Li also in this as the Emperor.
That's right. Yeah. And for people who don't know this movie, what is
Donnie Yen?
Yeah, I know Donnie Yen.
We had this conversation once before. I think
did
actually.
Have this conversation, yeah.
I've forgotten all of this though. Oh.
So Hero, for people who've never seen this movie, is most famous for its incredibly, incredibly iconic fight scenes, where every fight is based off a color. And so you have like the red, it's the rainbow. You have the red fight, the blue fight, the yellow fight, the white fight, the black fight, the green fight, and it's so beautiful. And so watching this trailer, it kind of felt like that for me again, where every character kind of has their color. You have the bright red of the Chinese army fighting the pitch black Huns.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I'm so excited.
It does, and yeah, I think
the light overture of reflection playing in the background.
So, because I texted our friend Jason, because he'd actually texted me, being like, "Hey, the trailer's out." Went and watched it, and I asked him like, "Wait, this is the movie where they're not doing any of the songs, as far as I know."
Correct.
And what seems to be the case is that they're not actually going to have any of the songs sung out loud. Although I wouldn't be surprised if we get like a cover of Reflection, maybe in the closing credits or something. But I think what they're going to do instead,
still Christina Aguilera.
Please have it be Christina Aguilera. I think what they're going to do instead is they're going to interweave those songs into the score, which is what they did in the trailer. And I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like that kind of more subtle approach to the familiarity.
Well, that's what they tried to do with Dumbo and just failed miserably.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But Dumbo was...
Because it wasn't really woven in.
failure.
It was more just like the instrumental version played while people talked over it.
Yeah, that whole thing didn't work. But this for me worked a lot, having the music in the background. It was like just the right amount of kind of nostalgia thrown in there.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks spectacular. And it also looks like it's going to be a pretty good action movie at the end of the day. And
which is what it has to be.
It has to be. And you and I obviously don't always have the same opinions on the Disney films, but I think we both agree that when they try and make themselves their own thing, they're more successful than when they're just rehashing.
Right.
For me, the parts of Aladdin that like the best were the parts that were just like Will Smith being Will Smith, for example. They're doing their own thing.
Yeah.
This looks like maybe of all the movies so far, maybe outside of Maleficent, is the most of doing its own thing.
Well, it's also the one that could be the most easily translated into live action.
Yeah.
This is a story that, I mean, obviously we've had live action Hunchbacks before. Pocahontas was also based off a real life event.
Yeah, and we had that New World movie from Terrence Malick that I never bothered with because I want to live too much to watch a Terrence Malick movie.
Yeah, but this is one that's just like it's a story made for film, and so no matter what medium, it's going to be a good story.
Yeah, you can like broaden out the scale of it and the scope and lean in on its action roots because there's good action in that movie. Yeah, but it's not an action film, the cartoon. So.
Right. And also for a Disney film, I would argue this is the least magical Disney film.
Yeah, I mean, with the exception of is it Mushu, right?
Yeah, who's not gonna? I've heard it's not a dragon in this. We're gonna get a phoenix.
Phoenix instead,
but Cricket's still in it, which is and so Cricket has a voice.
He does?
Yeah, he's in IMDb.
Oh, really?
I don't remember who the actor was, but yeah, they have a casting for Cricket.
That's fantastic.
And fucking Jimmy Wong is in this movie. And that makes my heart so happy. Jimmy Wong was a famous YouTuber who kind of unfortunately always lived in his older brother's shadow, Freddie Wong.
Oh, okay.
The creator of the YouTube channel Freddie W, which turned into Rocket Jump Pictures. They had their own Hulu series called Dimension 404. They had their own own series, Video Game High School. And Jimmy is an amazing actor, but it's always just kind of been tucked behind Freddie. And so now for him to be not only in a big movie, but a big kind of multicultural Asian cast similar to Crazy Rich Asians, it's fucking awesome to see him
No, that's awesome.
Grind and rise to the ranks.
And I mean, along those lines, Disney is really good about kind of pulling that up and coming talent and putting them front and center. And I think that segues us nicely onto the Little Mermaid casting.
Yes.
So there's been
unnecessarily dramatic casting.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's actually the part that I want to get into. So there's been rumors going around for a long time about who's going to get cast in this movie. Zendaya was rumored for a long time.
And I feel like no one was upset when she was the rumor. Was it the lack of confirmation which made it less dramatic? Or was it that she was just such a familiar face?
I think it may have been a familiar face. I think it may have been the lack of it being concretely set in stone, actually cast. But so ultimately they ended up casting an actress I had not heard of before. Her name's Halle Bailey, not to be confused with Halle Berry.
As I was confused.
Yes.
So that doesn't work at all.
I mean, I'd still watch that.
Oh, I would too. I get an older version, the 20 years later, Little Mermaid story.
Because let's be honest, Halle Berry, I think, is one of the most hit or miss actresses. I think when she's on, and she's amazing. And when it's not working for her, it's really not working for her. So the idea of there being that coin toss of which Halle Berry are we going to get?
Yeah.
Little Mermaid would have been entertaining. But so I had not heard of this actress before. She's currently on Grownish, a show I've heard good things about. I've watched Blackish and I liked it. And I think she got her start. I was reading about this to remember now. She and her sister started like a YouTube channel basically doing Beyonce covers.
They're a singing duo.
Yeah. So she's obviously talented. Mm-hmm. And I think this is fantastic. And so, of course, the big reason why everyone is getting, I guess, upset about this is that it's a black actress playing a traditionally white character. Mm-hmm. To which my response is, who the fuck cares and shut the fuck up?
Did you see Freeform's tweet this morning?
No.
Oh, let me find it because it hits.
Was that the one that basically said, someone more or less said something about, it took them 70 years before they cast Tiana in a Disney movie, before we had a black princess. So, all these girls weren't able to see themselves on screen for that long of a time. Fucking deal with it, basically.
It's kind of along those lines, but no, that wasn't the one. So Freeform responded on Instagram with a post for Disney Freeform, so major corporate level. I said, yes, the original author of The Little Mermaid was Danish. Ariel is a mermaid. She lives in an underwater kingdom and in international waters and can even legit swim wherever she wants, even though she's often upsets King Triton, absolute zaddy. But
Not wrong.
But for the sake of argument, let's say that Ariel too is Danish. Danish mermaids can be black because Danish people can be black. Ariel can sneak up to the surface at any time with her pal Scuttle and the ... Jamaican crab Sebastian, sorry Flounder, to keep that bronze base tight. Black Danish people and thus merfolk can also genetically have red hair, but spoiler alert, bring it to the top. The character of Ariel is a work of fiction. So after all that is said and done, if you still cannot get past the idea of choosing this incredible, sensational, highly talented, gorgeous Halle Bailey as anything other than the inspired casting that it is, because she doesn't look like a cartoon one. Oh boy, do I have some news for you about you.
Right. No, that's good. I mean, that's great. I've been happy to see there's been a lot of support getting thrown behind her because so again, from an objective perspective, Disney is really good at this. Yes. They have some of the best casting people in the business because they're Disney. People want to work for Disney.
Right. People spend their whole life trying to work for Disney.
Yeah. I think that big movies like this, movies that already have a built-in fan base, are great opportunities for lesser known actors to get their big break. Something that they haven't always been great at with the live action movies in the past. They've still done a lot of star casting. Mm-hmm. I feel like Aladdin was kind of the first one where they had leads that were relatively unknown. I had no idea who Mana Masad was before that movie. Fucking love him. I thought he was great in that movie. He's one of those people I want to see more of. Case in point, if his name ever... is he British?
I'll say yes.
If he's British and his name came out for Bond, I'd be like... hell yeah. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we both love Naomi Scott.
Yes.
Bigger platform for her. Fantastic.
Yeah. Obviously, we know her earlier from other roles.
Yeah, mostly from Power Rangers and other stuff.
Yeah, but the common... when I talk to people about her outside of our normal nerd circle, they don't know who she is.
Yeah. But this is what these things should be. I mean, without this kind of bold casting of going for the actor who fits the role and people don't know who they are, we wouldn't have... any of the hot Chris's, for example.
Yep.
Pretty much the vast majority of the Marvel cast all came out of nowhere. Tom Holland. We wouldn't have Daisy Ridley. We wouldn't have John Boyega. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what these franchises can do. They can bring unknown people in, which is really awesome.
But also on that note, that's exactly what they did in the animated versions. Mm-hmm. Outside of... because there was the video I plugged a few weeks ago about the voice casting and Genie, specifically Robin Williams. All through the 90s, Disney kind of went out of their way for their main characters to fit the role and not to be big names.
Yeah.
Outside of the chosen comedic talent was
right.
always was always the draw character.
Yeah, you still have like one big name, but otherwise it's lesser known people.
Yeah,
which is
Jodie
fantastic.
Benson.
Yeah.
Who was... I already forgot all the other princesses.
No, it's fine.
Jodie Benson.
I mean, I'm judging you because this is
it's
things
right.
you should. These things you should.
I know. I've worked with all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one is a big name in any of these movies. They cast for the voice.
Yeah.
And that's that's what they're doing again.
Yeah.
And it's nice.
So no, I'm very thrilled with this, and I have one more point I want to make on this, and I have brought along a visual aid.
Great
for this audio medium. So,
yes.
Cameron, what am I holding in my hand here?
Sea salt soap.
Yes, I am holding a literal soapbox.
Oh.
That I'm setting down. I dare not stand on it because I would just crush it.
It's very tiny.
It's very, very tiny. But I felt this was necessary to help make my point here.
Okay. So, the soapbox has been dropped.
So
hear me now, Disney haters.
I've made this point before, but obviously representation fucking matters.
Yeah.
I have the privilege of still being white and male, so I see myself everywhere. But I have often bemoaned and continue to bemoan the lack of gay representation in films. It was a point of contention for me with Marvel up to this point. It even bugged me a little bit with Aladdin that we had to have two hetero love stories. Mm-hmm. So representation fucking matters. It makes a big difference. And what's actually gotten me most frustrated about this whole situation is the coverage of the negative reaction.
Yes, because again, it's the small voices get the loudest.
Exactly. So
the loudest bullhorns.
to try and back my point up, I went online this morning to try and see how many of the headline articles were about the backlash. And actually, to my pleasant surprise, not as many as I expected.
Yeah. A lot of people are talking about the outgoing positive support.
Right. And that's good. And that's what I want to see covered, because I was talking with our friend Jason about this in the car. And I said, what frustrates me so much is that he and I were having a conversation about the negative backlash, even something you and I were talking about just now. And when the story becomes about the backlash and not about the actual casting itself, then you're fueling the fire of the negativity, not the positivity of the whole thing. And it's kind of sad that in 2019, this is noteworthy, but that's part of it. Like, she has this amazing opportunity in front of her, which is incredible. And I'm sure it'll go so many places for her career. But it also kind of sucks too, because she has to be the first one.
Yeah.
She has to be the first live action Black female lead in a Disney film. And that is fucking awesome. And it also sucks because then she has to deal with the brunt of all of this. And one hopes that when they do kind of more casting on these lines down the line, the backlash will be diminished because it all kind of got burned out here. But it bothers me that that's what everyone wants to be talking about. And obviously we've talked about it. And you have to acknowledge that these things are noteworthy up to the point where then they stop being noteworthy.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's like the Russos are even talking about like that one gay character played by Joe Russo in Avengers Endgame. And they're like, well, it wasn't meant to be a big deal. It's just something we wanted to do. And the problem is it has to be a big deal because it hadn't been done yet before. It was groundbreaking, even though that wasn't their intent. So the goal is that at a certain point, it won't really matter anymore. They will just be gay characters. They will just be Black princesses. There will just be more trans characters. Actually, that'll lead us at some point into Spider-Man. Little note there.
Oh, I also have one more quick tweet to read.
Okay.
I really, really liked that one of my friends shared this morning. It was, as a white-skinned redhead, I have very strong feelings about The Little Mermaid. Ariel changed my ginger world. The mean jokes ended. I became envied for my hair. And you know what? A little black girl should experience the same feeling with the new Ariel. Like, yeah.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess what I want to try and do going forward is to try and focus more on the positivity of this, which we did. And then I'm now doing this whole thing about the negative backlash.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing is this is great. This is awesome.
I'm fucking pumped.
Yeah. I want to see more stuff like this. Like,
because that could mean, because one of the jokes going around is that means we could get Idris Elba to play Triton, which means we can continue to get the sexiest dad in all of Disney.
Okay. I just need a moment to recover from that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to get that. We're going to get that silver fox Idris Elba as King Triton.
I think I'm good. I think I'm good.
You good? You're a little tense.
I think stiff is the better word.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I love.
Did I tell you Hot Ray was at Disneyland yesterday?
Who?
Hot Ray.
Hot Ray.
So it's a joke I have running with a couple of the Disney friends. There are two friends of Ray, which means people that play Ray in the parks. They walk around Batu, and one of them has this smolder about her that just makes me melt. And so we all refer to her as Hot Ray. And it's very rare for her to make an appearance.
Okay.
And so we walked through Batu yesterday, and I'm like, oh my God, Hot Ray's here. And I immediately texted everyone that I could. Like, Hot Ray's in the parks today, boys and girls.
I mean, I totally get it. One of the Batu cast members, I think were you with me? No, you weren't with me that time. There was this like very, very attractive man who was one of the cast members. Like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Hello, come back.
It's great.
Okay. I mean, have we thoroughly covered all of the news that's fit to print at this point?
I believe so.
The one thing we didn't cover is that once again, The Flash has a new director.
Yay! How many is this now?
I don't even know. So this time it's Andy Muschietti who's doing the It movies. And he's got a new writer on board with him. Let me get this real fast. Let it while it loads.
Oh, you said It.
It.
Okay. They said Ip.
The Ip, like the Ip Man movies?
Yes.
No. Oh, that's why you were so excited. Okay, this isn't loading for whatever reason. But I mean, do we care?
No.
Yeah, no.
Because he's gonna leave.
If this movie ever even gets made, it probably won't even have any of the people currently attached to it.
How long until we get a chance?
Do they finally give us a shot?
Yeah. How many people do they have to go through before they're like, hey, these guys have a small podcast?
I would say that if this movie hasn't been made within 3 years, I would feel comfortable giving Warner Brothers a call. Like, yeah, I got an idea for you.
Yeah.
have you sucked every last drop out of that barrel? Guess what? There's more bottom of that barrel, and we're it.
Guess what? We're bringing a whole other barrel in.
We are the barnacles in the bottom of that barrel, and we are here to pitch.
Yes. So, hello, we are the Barnacle Brothers.
So on board with that. All right, should we actually get into our primary topic here?
Let's talk about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man Far From Home. It's great. Good. All right, episode done.
News. Plugs.
I don't even know really what to say about this. Obviously, we're going to go into full spoiler territory as we always do. I really had a lot of fun with this.
Me too. How do you think it's better or worse than Homecoming? Or on par?
It's hard for me to say because they are very, very different films. This film is the least traditionally Spider-Man of
this.
Any of
honestly
them.
Felt like a TV episode. I
have
a
little
things.
bit.
It feels like both a TV episode, but also it feels like this was the script for a video game that just turned into a movie.
Yeah, you made that point the other day, and I think you're kind of onto something there because it does feel video game-esque.
Yeah, especially the fight sequences because as we learn later, Mysterio is not actually doing any of the fighting. It's all a hologram, and because of that, you kind of hear the voice from behind the screen because he's not on screen a lot, so you kind of hear it from behind the camera. In the same sense of like as Spider-Man's fighting the lava titan, not titan. The elemental. The lava elemental, and I was having flashbacks of just playing a game and dying 4 times in a row and having to watch the same cutscene
over and over again.
Let's go, Spider-Man! We can do it. Just one more push and we got him.
Yeah,
I'm like, I fucking got it, Mysterio. I know. I've heard you say that so many times.
Yeah, no, I kind of see what you're saying. Where there's this idea of these being kind of like boss fights almost throughout the course of the movie. And then, of course, the Mysterio plot twist, and you go up against him. And for me, the finale really makes this.
Yeah.
So talking to a few friends, talking to CJ, talking to Savannah, they both said that they found the beginning very slow, like the first half.
Yeah, that's
kind of slow and boring.
Up until the bar scene, most people agree that it's kind of okay.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think that's fair. It feels a little bit disjointed. I think part of it is there's so much location hopping going along, and it does feel broken out into vignettes a little bit.
Which also makes me understand why they cut that big scene from all the trailers.
Oh, the action scene with him in the Iron Spider suit?
Yeah, the action scene, the getting all the stuff before the trip, getting his passport, going to the corner store to get the phone jack and all that stuff, which is the directors come out and said, and basically every other podcast has already said, that they're going to release that as a kind of a short later. Because it's kind of like an 8-minute sequence.
Oh, okay, like their version of like a one-shot almost now.
Yeah, exactly.
That is actually a really brilliant idea.
Yeah, right? Because, I mean, everyone always wants more footage, and you have footage that basically got greenlit till the last minute, and like, let's just, I mean, it doesn't really add anything to the story.
Yeah, I mean, it all got shot. So, yeah, why not cut it out there? No, I mean, I like that idea, actually, because, I mean, there's bits in the trailer that we don't get to see, which happens a lot, especially with Marvel movies. And those pieces look fun, but I feel like that would have bogged it down kind of even slower.
Yeah, because it is like a probably 5 to 8 minute sequence.
Yeah.
And so the director is like, we just wanted to get them to Europe as fast as possible.
Because they did have a lot of work to do. They basically had to acknowledge what is the status of this world now post Endgame, and I thought they did it in a really clever, funny way.
Oh, I loved that sequence.
Yeah.
The comic, when Comic Sans came on screen, there were people next to me that don't know the joke of Comic Sans. They were like, oh, that was really sweet. And I'm like, this was made by a fucking freshman in high school.
Right. It felt very authentic, this tribute video all done to
all the star
I Will
wipes.
Always Love You. Yeah, all the star wipes. They're going through all the faces.
The PowerPoint transitions.
Of the Avengers that are considered dead in this world. So obviously Tony Stark, but then of course Black Widow, and then from their perspective, Captain America as well. And then Vision, yeah. And I liked all of that. And yeah, I loved that, as they're going through, it ends on just like a Getty image, like a low-res Getty, watermark Getty image thing. Super, super funny moment. But, basically what they established right from the beginning was the question we had at the end of Endgame was, how are they getting knowledge that's going forward? And essentially it's like, everyone disappeared and then came back.
They tried to rename it. Russo brothers, you can't try and rename something that we've already named.
The Snappening?
Yeah, we've already called it the Snap. You can't call it the Blip.
I mean, I guess because the snap was everyone going away. And so I guess now the blip is everyone coming back, or the blip is the entirety sequence of like everyone disappears and all of a sudden everyone comes back.
Yeah.
I thought that was super funny the way they did it too.
Oh, it was amazing.
Yeah, because like, so they show camera footage of, I don't know why I'm telling you this, you've probably seen the movie, but we're acknowledging how funny it is.
Yeah.
When there's a band playing on the basketball court and the snap happens, they'll disappear, and then it cuts back to an ongoing basketball game, and all of a sudden the band reappears in an instant and they all crash around. And no, I mean, it's pretty clever. And so, I mean, the weird thing is this is now set in 2023. All films going forward will be. Mm-hmm. Or I guess not all of them will be, but like that's the current status.
Do you think, and for the next 4 years, we're going to get all time period movies? So once we in the real world can catch up to 2023, then they'll just continue the storyline?
I mean, that's very possible because...
Or go to a parallel world that just happens to be 5 years back in time.
Right? That multiverse.
Yeah.
Which
doesn't actually exist. But also might still exist.
They've introduced the idea. But I mean, that's very possible because Black Widow, we know, is going to be a prequel of some sorts. I think the prevailing theory right now is that it's set right after Civil War.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a period piece of sorts. Guardians 3, because it's set in space, it doesn't matter quite as much that it's set in 2023. Obviously, Black Panther 2 and Doctor Strange 2, that will make a difference. But, you know, those are going to be coming out a little bit closer to 2023 anyways.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you find...
And then the Eternals, we still know nothing about.
We don't know anything about, but that'll be probably very space-bound. I mean, did you find their kind of resolution of those threads satisfactory?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was always the question going into it, is like, did all of the classmates get snapped?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're just like, they didn't even acknowledge it. They said, yeah, they did.
Yeah.
And then they even have the great joke of the new hot guy. What's his name again? Or the actor's name?
Davis? Oh, I'm just looking.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Where hot. He was, you know...
Brad Davis.
Yes. Because he was from as I learned from The Weekly Planet this week, he was a one-shot character in the comics in the 60s. When Peter first broke up with MJ, he was the quarterback that swooped in.
Oh, really?
And dated her for an issue. Yeah.
Oh, fucking genius.
Yeah, Brad Davis. So in this version of Peter Parker's world, he was the 5-year younger nerd, scrawny kid, and now they all come back, and he's this, you know, he's the good-looking high school kid that all the girls want to be with, and now Ned and Peter are both super jealous of, like, we used to pick on that kid.
Yeah.
Like, he was the only one less cool than us.
And now he's handsome as fuck.
Yeah, now he's smoldering.
He's constantly smoldering.
So,
because this movie has a lot of twists and turns that we were expecting. Mm-hmm. I didn't know about the Brad Davis character going in. I understand the need to have him be a rival to MJ's affections with Peter. I was kind of hoping there would be a twist on that too. Like, a little part of me was like, oh, wouldn't it be interesting if Peter assumes this guy is his rival, but it turns out that this guy actually has a crush on Peter? Mm-hmm. That's what I wanted, because of course I want everything to be gay.
Yeah.
And it didn't go that way, and I understand why, because that would have killed that conflict too early, and that conflict had to keep going all the way through the story.
Didn't they do that? That was that 70s Show episode.
Is that? I never watched that show.
Season 1, Joseph Gordon-Levitt of all characters. What's his face?
Topher Grace.
Topher Grace is, I forgot the character name, and I feel so bad about it.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Bowl cut.
He's teamed up with this one guy for a class project, and the guy is like really close with Donna, and he doesn't like it. And then at the end, Joseph Gordon-Levitt kisses Topher. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Is that okay?" He's like, "No, but I mean, I get it." And this is weird because it's like based in the 70s, where that was not be okay. But it was a character that they had planned to make like a season regular.
Yeah.
Just this gay guy who's now part of the group, and everyone's just super cool with him being gay. Mm-hmm. And even Topher's like, yeah, we can still be friends, but just don't do that.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we kind of need that. Like, we still need that very desperately.
We do.
And then unfortunately there was a little bit of fan backlash back then, and so that he was no longer, he was a one-shot character.
Can we not refer to it as fan backlash? Can we just refer to it as asshole backlash?
Asshole backlash.
Yes. Ass wash? No, never mind. No, but I thought that story was done well, though, of Peter and MJ, their relationship.
I did have a small problem with MJ in the very beginning. Obviously it's Zendaya. I love her to death.
She's so good in this.
Where in the first movie, in Homecoming, she's this very cold, very funny, but very, like, dark. Everything is dark. She was a modern goth.
Yeah.
And in this movie, she starts off that way. But then the first time she's alone with Peter, they both turn into that, like, awkward high school, like, I like you, you like me, but we can't acknowledge that yet.
Yeah.
So we're just going to act like, quivering children.
It's great, though.
After seeing it the first time, I was okay with it. It was just weird to see that jump.
No, that's fair. But they had to kind of, like, rejig her character a little bit to allow for more interaction, because if she's constantly just a little bit closed off, they couldn't really carry the story forward.
Right.
But I think they have amazing chemistry in this.
They do.
And it does feel
almost
really,
as
really
palpable
organic
as Jake Gyllenhaal and Tom Holland.
Oh, God, that chemistry.
What was the news title that everyone thought was very dirty and very funny?
Tom Holland made a comment that after a workout with Jake Gyllenhaal, he couldn't walk.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And everyone's just like, couldn't walk?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, oh yeah, all of the queens, myself included, just being like, oh, but that's not a thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Tom Holland's straight.
We'll see.
No, I mean, one can dream. But no, like, it's super good chemistry. I mean, just good chemistry across the board.
Yeah,
I think everyone
and also
here
very understanding of how high school relationships are.
Yes.
Specifically talking about Ned and Betty.
Oh my God! So the worst part of the movie makes it one of the best, which is the relationship between Ned and Betty.
Yes.
Because everyone knows this couple. The couple that's like, yeah, babe. Yeah, what up, babe? Mm-hmm. Sure, babe. Let's do it, babe.
One of my best coworker friends, her and her husband are referred to as the Huns. Because it's, hey, hon, can you help me with this? Yeah, hon, I'll be there in a minute.
Oh my
Thanks, hon.
God, the Huns.
Yeah. And in high school, I knew a ton of... I looking back on this after reflecting for the week, I think I was one of these couples.
That doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Not at all, right?
No, you are a babe waiting to happen.
Yes. But we never did babe. I don't remember what word we used, but we never did babe. We never did hun. We never did sweetie. I don't remember what word we used. I don't think we had a word, but we were definitely still one of those, like, overly sappy. Just, like, constantly, like, one hand over the other, like, who could. Yeah, great, like, you know that.
Yes, I know. Yes. The visuals, the audio, it all comes together. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, like, their scenes are so cringeworthy, but because they're so true. And it just also goes to show the comedic capability of those two actors. Mm-hmm. They really pull that stuff off so well.
Yeah.
And just this total, like, is May December romance? Is that the right term to use here? This, like, summer fling sort of thing? Where it's just like
Summer 11.
Yeah.
Having a blast. It happens so fast.
Just met a girl.
Sweet as could be.
Met a boy.
Fuck.
Cute as can be.
Cute as can be.
No, wait. Met a girl. That doesn't matter. I watched Grease 2 last night.
Why? I made a Grease 2 joke yesterday.
Because I was already doing a movie night with my new friend Savannah Rogers, who I talked about. We did the Chasing Amy Gate Forward podcast together.
Yeah.
So she was coming over, so I invited Jonathan to join us. And then we expanded out to include our friends CJ and Wes as well. So we had, like, an impromptu movie night last night.
Nice.
We started off by watching Drop Dead Gorgeous, which is a brilliant fucking satire.
I haven't seen it. It's been on my list.
It's so good. It's such an amazing satire. Star-studded cast. It's spectacular. And then we got done with it, and we're talking about Grease 2. Like, I guess we'll just go ahead and put it on. So we put it on too. Like, we talked over the whole thing, but I mean, it's absurd in its own weird, entertaining way. There's a whole song in one of the classrooms. The song's literally about reproduction. Like, the name of the song is Reproduction.
Nice.
So it's a really weird movie. Fucking Grease 2. It's bizarre. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess worth watching?
No.
Okay, hang on. It is worth watching because it's got a super young Michelle Pfeiffer. If it's not her first role,
that's right.
It's one of her first roles. Mm-hmm. And my God, is she sexy. And then the guy that she's in the movie with, whose name I cannot remember, is so gorgeous. So it's worth watching just for these two very, very attractive people to be on screen together. Also, it's more or less has a very similar plot line to Batman Forever.
Great.
Yes.
Do they have a Grease credit card?
I fucking wish. Maxwell Caulfield is the male lead in this. But no, it's like there's this whole thing where Michelle Pfeiffer's I Want song is about how she wants like a bad boy, like who can ride a motorcycle and stuff. And Maxwell Caulfield, this guy Michael, he's this nerdy English exchange student. And so he's the one that goes through transformation this time.
Oh my! I love when it's a guy transformation.
It's a guy transformation. So he like learns how to ride a motorcycle, and then he rides around in a helmet, like dark goggles, and a leather black jacket, like unzipped so you can still see his chest. Fantastic. But she doesn't know who this guy is, and so it's this whole thing about how she's spending time with like the nerdy lovable guy, and she like is kind of falling for him, but she's super got the hots to the other guy, and
so it's a Superman story.
Yeah, she's basically telling like, oh my god, like I'm super in love with like the bad boy, the leather. I'm like, this is Batman Forever.
Yeah,
it's a plotline of Batman Forever. That doesn't fucking matter. Grease 2. Why do we get on this? Oh, summer romance.
Yeah, Summer 11.
It's my turn for the tangents.
That's fine.
But no, I thought the relationship there is super good. Okay, so. I mean, let's talk about the big twist, the one that we all kind of saw coming, but I thought was still very well executed.
I didn't realize that's where it was going to happen.
Right, yeah. So
that's what was cool.
You know, going into this, we're like, okay, it's Mysterio. Mysterio's big thing is that he's a master of illusion and he's a total asshole. Mm-hmm. So what's going to be the turn? And
what we all thought, based off the trailers and how they cut it was the glasses that were going to save Spider-Man. Because we knew he was getting Tony's glasses. Very heartwarming moment when he opens the box. And we were expecting the glasses to be like, oh, these are fake things. But that's not what happened. And I'm very happy that we were all wrong about that.
Yeah, went a completely different direction. And the glasses were the MacGuffin of the whole thing, which I was not expecting either. I thought it was going to be like a little throwaway moment. But it's, you know, they control this Edith satellite that has these drones built into it, basically, this huge weapon system. And so the twist is, of course, that Mysterio is the bad guy and everything is an illusion. But he's actually working with a whole team.
Yes.
Which I really loved because they brought back at least one familiar face. They brought back Peter Billingsley, most famous for being Ralphie in A Christmas Story, getting his eye shot out with the Red Ryder BB gun. But he has a brief cameo appearance in the first Iron Man movie as the scientist who can't rebuild the mini arc reactor. Yeah. And he's back.
Who famously gets yelled at by Jeff Bridges.
Exactly. And it happens again. Yeah. In this movie. They did the flashback sequence. And so he's there along with all these
Tony Stark built this in a cave.
That's a pretty good Jeff Bridges, actually.
No, it's not.
For a box of scraps.
The box of scraps. Great one. God, I love Jeff Bridges.
Oh, he's fantastic. But yeah, so like Peter Billingsley's back, and that's the first person I caught. I'm like, oh fuck, it's Peter Billingsley. And then we realize that it's a whole team of former Stark employees, and so Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. I guess we never learn his real name because it wouldn't be Quentin Beck because that like Shield would catch that. But he was the guy that designed Barf, the hologram system that Tony introduces in Captain America: Civil War.
Right.
And so he's adapted that tech and put it on top of the weaponized drones designed by Peter Billingsley's character. And he's recruited another former Stark employee who's like a costume designer to build the Mysterio costume. Another guy to do all the dialogue and
I love him
parts of it.
because I assume he's like a former speechwriter.
Right, yeah.
And they just like fired him on a whim. Like I want to know more about him.
Right.
Because there's a moment in the final fight where Spider-Man starts breaking all the droids and all the drones inside the illusion, and they call up the scriptwriter who's just like leaning on a side of a building in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's like, how can we twist this? He's like, just say that's fake.
Yeah. It's drawing energy from the Earth's core.
Yeah.
What I love is that character is like the punch-up writer for the Mysterio character. He's basically the Christopher McQuarrie.
Yeah.
Of the Mysterio team.
I know. He's my favorite of the team.
Or I think is it Janice is the costumer, right? The one who builds the Mysterio suit.
Yeah, the one like, do you still need the cape? He's like, yeah, please.
Yes, Janice.
Janice, yes.
And I want to give credit to Jake Gyllenhaal. We were talking about this before the episode about how he was waiting for the right role. Marvel kept going back to him, and he finally said yes in this. I can see why.
Yeah.
Because he gets to do this huge range. He gets to be like him at his most charming, think like, I don't know, like Love and Other Drugs or something, whatever his most charming role is. And then also him at his like Nightcrawler level, like dark and psychotic. And he makes those swings feel so natural.
Yeah.
And he's so manic. Like even when he's in the middle of the firefight and he has that moment, it's like, yes, Janice, we need that still. Like that is, it's so funny when it happens, but his intensity feels real. And it's such a great performance from him.
I mean, he's a villain of sorts, but he has a positive motive. Like he wants to be a hero.
He doesn't, but no.
Or he wants I guess it's not a positive motive. It's not an evil motive.
I mean, it basically is. He wants to dupe the whole world into thinking he's the new superhero.
Yeah.
And like just reap the benefits of it. So, I mean, he doesn't have a sympathetic motivation the same way that I would say
Vulture
or Loki or from your own perspective, maybe Thanos does. But his motivation is very understandable. And
he just wants to be an influencer, Chris.
He does. It's all he really wants this world to be an influencer.
Yeah.
And I even...
He just wants those hotel discounts.
Hi, I'm hotel Mysterio. Discounts. He just wants to plug some Harry's razors.
Yeah.
Maybe some Bombas socks.
Some Henry's razors.
But I even love that after the reveal, from that point on, he's rarely in the full-on Mysterio suit because sometimes it's real, sometimes it's a hologram. He's mostly just in a mocap suit, which in of itself is such a genius meta nod to how these movies are done.
Yeah.
And he has some great lines too. He talks about how, you know, people will believe anything, which is a huge plot point of kind of the whole movie. It's one of the big themes.
Yeah.
Now, do you feel like the reveal, once it happens, holds up going backwards? Have you seen it once or twice?
I've only seen it once. I haven't had time to go a second. I want to go see it a second time.
Yeah, so I went and saw it a second time. And for me, once I knew the twist and how it's all done, I'm watching things like, especially the Venice fight with
I was thinking about Hydro Man, yeah, because his webbing should have hit something.
So it could have gone through the illusion and just missed the drones.
Yeah.
Right? But what doesn't quite hold up for me is the fact that everything gets wet everywhere. Like people are actually clearly getting hit with water because they're getting soaked. Now,
we do know some of the drones have fans.
They do have fans. They have sonic cannons. So yes. I suppose it's possible that they're able to maybe store water. That one, I think, felt the most far-fetched for me because in the Molten Man one, you know, there's the question of where does that heat come from? They're going to feel the heat of this guy, but they all have lasers and they do have flamethrowers.
Yes.
So that one I can kind of buy because the drones are basically causing the real-life destruction around these illusions. But the Hydro Man one doesn't, for me, fully hold up.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. But those are really great sequences, though. I mean, I'm not going to say they're not some of the best action sequences, but I think they do a pretty good job. They're very
they're very fun.
They're a lot of fun.
I think these action sequences are better than the Homecoming action sequences.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. Outside of the one at the very beginning of Homecoming, when he's like, "You guys aren't the Avengers."
Oh yeah, that one's pretty fun. No, I mean,
but this movie has probably my favorite fight sequence ever is when they're in the full illusion.
Oh right, yeah, when Peter's trying to tell Fury who Mysterio actually is, Mysterio intercepts him.
Yeah, and then dukes him again because Nick Fury shoots Mysterio in the back of the head, and then Peter's like, "Oh my God, Nick Fury, you're okay," and he tells him all the information, and then it's still Mysterio. It's still Mysterio.
No, I mean, yeah, visually that sequence is spectacular.
That sequence is so beautiful. Because I don't want to bring it up again, and I apologize for bringing it up again. But this is what I wanted in Aladdin.
Oh my God.
This is the exact... So, like, they let the animators and story artists just go crazy with these illusions.
Yeah.
I mean, as we talked about before, it's very in line with, like, the Scarecrow fight in the Batman games.
Yeah.
And it's very in line with Mysterio's character. He just goes crazy, completely disorienting Spider-Man. And I think I don't know if I missed something where they said that his spider sense isn't working anymore. I think they could have added one more line in the beginning.
That's something they don't really talk about. Like May throws the banana at him and he doesn't notice it. And then they talk about the Peter Tingle.
The Peter Tingle.
Which is so funny.
I said that for the first time out loud the other day. And I'm like, oh, that feels so weird. I don't like saying it.
But it's also so perfect because it is that really like uncomfortable thing like a parent would say.
Oh, absolutely.
And then it just sticks. Like, don't call it that.
It's not the Peter Tingle, Mom. It's my spider sense.
Again, it helps build that sense of this being a teenager going through a teenage movie. But so I do understand what you mean though about that that kind of like nightmare hallucination sequence.
And when I say that's what I wanted from Aladdin, I wanted that grandiose, fully encompass everything, especially in Friend Like Me and Prince Ali, and these big musical numbers where Genie just gets to be Genie.
Yeah,
and he's the strongest magical creature in the world, as we learned from The Wish.
Yes.
So show it like that. Like, give us you can do like the whole sand thing where he like throws up sand and it constructs all these things. Like, it could have been so much cooler. And seeing this now was like, Aladdin, you could have done so much more.
And there's so much great sleight of hand in Spider-Man Far From Home.
So much great sleight of hand.
If only we could have gotten it in Aladdin.
It's all of the drones. The drone sleight of hand is unbelievable.
But no, that sequence is brilliant. And you had said this before. Again, it feels like a comic book piece. It feels like Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
The sort of crazy hallucination. You can imagine that you're playing as that video game character trying to escape this thing. You can't because nothing's real. If everything you hit just hurts.
Yeah. God, that'd be such a frustrating level.
It would be
so cool.
But I mean, that was what. Have you played the Arkham games?
I have.
Yeah, I mean that's what that was the first time you get hit with the fear toxin. Like you're in the Arkham morgue and you open the door and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm here again. And especially in a video game, like, did this glitch out on me? Like, what's going on? You just go back and forth and eventually realize, like, oh, okay, yeah, like this is all part of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it had that sort of feel all the way through. And
then when he lands and he's in front of Tony's grave.
Oh my God.
Oh, that hit. That hit so hard.
Were you wondering if it's gonna be Tony or Ben in that moment? Uncle Ben?
No, I honestly completely forgot that Uncle Ben existed in this movie.
Yeah, because they never really.
Because we didn't get an origin. I don't know his origin.
How did he get here?
I don't get it.
Honestly.
Yeah. Where's the spider? Was he born this way or was he bitten by something? I don't know.
Oh, baby, he was born this way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He's on the right track, baby.
No, and like the zombie Iron Man pops out. It's so good.
Nice throwback to Marvel Zombies.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, and then for me, the climax is fantastic. The finale of this thing, they're back in London, and Peter's having to take in all these drones.
Mm-hmm. But also from Beck's perspective, where he's not even. I mean, he has everything already set. You have a villain that doesn't have to be active for all of this.
Yeah.
His only role is to keep the illusion as alive as possible.
Yeah.
And that's such a cool, different kind of villain. We're like, and it's exactly what we talked about in our old Batman episodes. Is villain stories are so much more fascinating when they have nothing to do with the main character.
Yeah,
like all of Batman's villains are so much more fun to watch when they just don't care about Batman. Like they're doing their own shit, and Batman is getting in the way of it.
Yeah, like Mysterio's plans had nothing to do with Spider-Man. He just kind of Spider-Man just shows up and Mysterio plays it off. Like, okay, here's a way we're going to like factor this in. And, I think too, there is some genuine affection on Beck's part towards Peter. Like he seems genuinely upset, like mad he has to go kill this kid. I mean, he's willing to do it because he's a psychopath, but there may have been some sort of like bit of sympathy for him and he felt bad about having to do it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, he's got a great story. And just that idea, exactly, of him being this weird villain from a distance. He doesn't actually have to be involved in the fight. Like, look at all the chaos he can cause without actually having to do it himself. I don't know, it's a character like we haven't seen before, really, in any of the movies. And this did feel the least Spider-Man-esque in a lot of ways. You almost kind of feel like you could swap out the names of these characters and be a different movie.
Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with that, though. I think it actually works in its favor because it felt so different and original. Which for me then leads on to the post-credit sting, like where they go from here.
Oh, yeah. That was a big... It was both really awesome and then really bad.
Yeah, so obviously...
Not like bad film-wise, but bad like character. Like,
exactly.
Shit, he's in a bind.
We've been going full spoilers up to this point. I would certainly hope you've seen the movie. This is the point where I'm going to give you the extra warning. Like, if you have not seen this yet, go see it because from this point on, this is when it gets into like the real exciting. Like for me, the biggest moment in the whole movie was what we're about to talk about, and I don't want to ruin for anyone who hasn't already seen it. But so you've been warned. You've been thoroughly warned.
Yes. Commissioner Gordon's in the movie.
Exactly. Finally, where has he been this whole time?
We got the amazing Marvel DC crossover we've always been waiting for. Spider-Man goes to Gotham, to GCPD. He's like, hey, Commissioner Gordon, I'm here to help.
And I want more pictures of Spider-Man.
I heard you have a bat problem.
Oh, my God. The return of the great J.K. Simmons.
Yes,
as J. Jonah Jameson. I mean, what else could they have done? Like, there's no one else they can really put in that role at this point and have it work.
Yeah. As we were saying, outside of Sam Jackson's Nick Fury, J.K. Simmons is the best comic book adaptation actor of all time.
I think he's the best.
You'd say it's more than Nick Fury?
Yes.
Even though they based it off of Sam Jackson?
Well, right. But, like, that's the kind of the weird thing about that one, right? Is that
who came first, the chicken or the egg?
Well, yeah, I mean, Mark Millar,
the Sam or the Jackson.
Mark Millar made his Fury based on Samuel L. Jackson. Like, even in that comic, they're like fan casting their own movie. He's like, obviously it'd have to be Samuel L. Jackson, and then of course they cast Samuel L. Jackson. So that's brilliant because it is in of itself a callback, and he's been amazing in all these movies. He's great in this. He's great in Captain Marvel. The more they give him to do, the better he is.
Yeah.
But with J.K. Simmons, like, who else is going to really fill those shoes? I mean, he's not as splashy as, say, a Hugh Jackman and a Wolverine. Like, he hasn't had that same sort of exposure and as much continuity being that character.
Yeah.
In terms of recasting.
But also people didn't like Hugh Jackman at first.
Yeah, because he's so different.
Yeah, and everyone's always loved J.K. Simmons.
I mean, how can you not? I think he is undoubtedly the single best part of those movies, which are kind of hit and miss. Mm-hmm. But it's brilliant. And so their version of him this time apparently is more based off the video game, which I have not played.
Oh, you haven't played
I don't have a PlayStation.
Oh, I'm going to let you borrow mine. Okay. It's a phenomenal game.
Everyone says it's amazing. I really do want to play it at some point.
And I feel like I have a lot more of appreciation for this movie because of that game. And I think also why I feel so the video game aspect of it is all the costume changes.
Yeah, there's a lot of costume changes.
Because that's a big part of the game is you can unlock 27 different costumes.
Yeah.
Each one of them have specific things they can do.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And then oh my God, the scene where Peter builds his own spider suit and he's with Happy and Happy turns around and it's Tony or it's Peter with AC/DC playing over him and he's got the AR glove building the suit. It's like, oh man.
He's there. He's the new Tony Stark.
Yeah.
And he loves Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. I mean, I love Led Zeppelin.
Yeah. But no, I mean, they set themselves up to go a very interesting direction, though, because Beck's contingency plan is that he creates a fake video. Mm-hmm. So we're talking about, like, basically deep fakes here, where it appears that Spider-Man is trying to unleash an army of drones so he can become the next Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So
I did find when that scene happened in the movie, I did find his word choice to be very odd.
Execute them all?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that would usually mean continue on with the plan. Right?
Well, she asked, should I execute cancellations? He's
like, yeah. Okay, yeah, I missed that second
especially
word.
The second time around, I was like, that felt a little bit forced, but he's a kid. You can kind of buy him, like, saying the wrong word in the moment.
Because he's also already done that. When he first sends the drone to kill
that's true, with Brad Davis, yeah. So, but basically, Beck puts out this video. It's captured by J. Jonah Jameson and his, like, Alex Jones style DailyBugle.net broadcast, and in it sets up that Spider-Man is a villain, and then also reveals a menace to society, and also reveals that he is in fact Peter Parker. So
yeah,
the thing that Marvel has avoided doing as much as possible, secret identities, they have thrown out their last one entirely, and now the world knows that Peter is Spider-Man.
Yeah, and again we end on an F-bomb.
We do, which I totally missed the first time around. That was a repeat, which is fantastic. I mean, how do you feel about that going forward now? Like, do you like that they've gone down this path? What do you think?
I just don't know what they're gonna do with that because he's still in high school in this version. He's still the nerd. You know, Spider-Man is admired. I mean, yeah, because now he's admired by some.
Yeah,
he will now be hated by a lot. He's gonna be probably wanted.
Yeah.
We don't know if and then the other big one is in this movie, Nick Fury was actually Talos.
Yes,
the Skrull. We don't know if he's gonna intervene at all. If the Skrulls are gonna play a point, they can probably be like, "Oh, nah, Spider-Man's not Peter Parker. That's actually just a Skrull that we had look like Peter Parker. Don't worry about that." Like they could route it to hide him again.
Yeah, because I suppose they could, because the public at large does not know the existence yet of the scrolls.
Right. Because then it's going to bring up a lot of questions like, is Peter Parker a Skrull? Is like, who is real, who is fake? Secret Invasion, it's a big thing. They open it up again. I'm so excited.
They open what up again?
Secret Invasion.
Oh yeah, they open up the possibility. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I do want to get to that, but first, so like, I think I'm not sure what they're going to do with the identity reveal. Like, I guess it does make sense because it's a major escalation for it, something that Marvel is known for doing. We've talked about this before. Right from the very first movie, end of Iron Man, I Am Iron Man, sets up an entirely different dynamic that's going to be established in the comics. Like, we're going to move forward in an entirely different space. And, Tony had his wealth and status to isolate him. Peter doesn't.
Right.
So at least this pushes the character in a place we haven't seen before, which is good. And I think these movies have been successful because they go in these different directions. I guess it makes sense, too. They wouldn't really do another teen high school movie because they did that once already, and they did something completely different with this one. They don't like to retread. So I guess they will probably approach it with the sincerity of going, oh, yeah, his identity's out now and he's a menace. And how does he deal with that? It's an interesting space.
Yeah. Because especially with the second half of this movie, once MJ figures it out, you see the danger of the knowledge. And so now, like, how is Aunt May going to handle this? Is she going to... Because then also the great ending of Peter sitting with Happy and Aunt May.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what are you guys? Because, like, is she going to be forced to move in with him just for the protection?
Oh, yeah.
And then you have that awkward, like, they've just broke... I think that'd be funny if the next movie is they just broke up, but she has to stay with him for protection services.
Like, they're living in, like, an Avengers compound or something like that to
and she's totally fine with it. Like, she's, like, understands the situation. He's the super awkward one.
Yeah.
As it always is.
See, that's a good dynamic. See, I think this will give them places to go to be interesting. They might bring back Vulture because he obviously knew Peter's identity but was keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
I think the one challenge with this is that's such a huge leap to take with him still being relatively new as Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine the possibility of maybe like, oh, maybe in Spider-Man 3 or the third film here, they might do something borrowing the Sinister Six. It's like six, like a team goes out for revenge against him. That doesn't work quite as well when we only really have a handful of villains. So what we have in prison, Shocker, Vulture, and Scorpion. But Mysterio is now dead.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be in there. But, we don't have the Rogues Gallery built up yet. But maybe this then leads to them doing like Kraven the Hunter. That could be super interesting. Yeah. Kraven's Last Hunt is a comic that I think even Kevin Feige has mentioned a lot as one of his favorites. So that could be super interesting.
And also, I don't know if you saw this, the small nod to the Raimi films when Peter's swinging through the city in the very end, you see the Osborn mansion from the Raimi films.
Oh, you see the building that stands in for it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not specifically referenced.
No, yeah. They don't say that, like, there's no Osborn. Yeah. It's just the location.
But you're right. It is it's the exterior shot. Because
but I think it's the coolest little nod.
It is fun. I didn't even think about that. But you're right. That is a fun little nod. And there's a rumor going around that it was going to be revealed that the former Avengers Tower was now going to be either Oscorp or possibly the Baxter Building.
Yeah.
We don't see either way. All we see is that there's now kind of this, like in the middle of the building, this kind of open garden that Peter flies through.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's a really cool shot. But, it's been modernized. It's different. So we don't know yet who's in that building, although I'm sure they'll reveal that at some point.
There was also from Mr. Sunday Movies video that came out recently. He brought up in that swinging sequence, there's a sign you can see that says, it's a big yellow sign that says big things are coming. And it has 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, ... and all of them have a circle around them in a similar setup to like the Fantastic Four logo.
Oh, that's interesting.
But that could also be because the problem we have now, which Disney I'm sure is loving all the speculation, is we've also finished Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. It could refer to Phase 4.
Very true.
Which, Phase Fantastic Four is great. Do you think there's still too much negativity from the last movie?
I don't think so. I mean, there wasn't a lot of positivity around Spider-Man after Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That's true.
And they got to this pretty quickly. I mean, but it is interesting to speculate where we go from here, because this is the sort of like the epilogue almost to Phase 3
Oh, it
and the
absolutely
Infinity
is.
War
Yeah.
saga. And the second post-credit sting, as we mentioned earlier, is revealed that throughout the entire movie, Nick Fury and Maria Hill were both Skrulls, so it's Talos and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, when you watch that movie again, you're like, doesn't necessarily hold up all the way through. Like,
Yeah.
they're really committing to their bit. Like, Maria Hill keeps referring to him as Nick.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, but what we do see is that Fury is off planet on some presumably massive Skrull ship, working something big. And so you mentioned that one of the speculations is possibly its sword.
Yes, the space version of Shield.
Yeah, which I'm not sure when they're introduced, but I know of them from the Joss Whedon X-Men run on comics.
Mm-hmm. That might have been their first one. I don't know, because I remember there's 3 protection agencies. There's Shield, Sword, and Hammer are the big 3. After Secret Invasion, as we recently learned, after Secret Invasion, Shield was shut down, and to replace it, Norman Osborn built Hammer.
Oh, okay.
Where he kind of built the anti-Avengers.
Got it.
And that started the Dark Reign arc on Marvel Comics.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember the Dark Reign a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting to speculate where they go from here, because we were trying to figure out going into this, like, what are they setting up with the bringing back the Skrulls? There's a lot of Skrulls now,
Yeah.
and they're definitively set up now as heroes, not villains. So if they were to adapt a Skrull story like Secret Invasion, they couldn't do it directly. Now, Secret War is another story that people bring up a lot. I looked it up real quick. For those of you who don't know, it's basically kind of an off-world big battle where this being captures a whole bunch of heroes and villains from Marvel and dumps them on a planet, and they have to fight each other. That's also where Peter originally got his black suit, which was later revealed to be a symbiote.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the characters there later is revealed to be a Skrull, so kind of sets it up. I don't think they're going to do something like Secret War. I think that's just too boring, frankly. But Secret Invasion could be a thing.
It's a fully fan service movie.
Yeah, I mean, and they have found ways to do things like that without having to be so on the nose, right? They adapted Planet Hulk in a form with Ragnarok. I don't think we're going to get something like Secret War. It's a little bit too
I agree.
pointless. I don't think there's a lot of juice to that, but you looked up Secret Invasion and you thought maybe that could be a thing.
Yeah, the problem is it would take a full 2 phases to set up properly, because also the characters that so the beginning of Secret Invasion, for those who don't know, like us, there's kind of 5 or 6 big heroes on Earth create a team called the Illuminati that are kind of like the face of the Earth defense.
Yeah, they're the smartest people in the room. So it's Stark, it's Reed Richards.
Let me pull it up again.
Doctor
Strange.
Is it Namor? Is he one of the ones in there?
No, Namor's from Dark Reign.
Okay, but I know that's the group that also shot Hulk into space and eventually led to the Planet Hulk storyline.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's one thing. You'd have to set up that group, which is hard to do considering that of them, only Doctor Strange has been introduced and is alive.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But I mean, they've been able to rush to stories pretty quickly, right? I mean, they got to Civil War, all things considered, pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's possible they could, and they would never do a strict adaptation because they never have. They would do their version of it.
Right.
And they do mention in the movie that there are Kree sleeper cells, a throwaway line. So it's possible that maybe the Kree are now hiding out on Earth. And I think based off of some stuff at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think sometimes the Kree can look human.
Okay.
So it's possible they could do something along those lines. Maybe it's the Kree have these sleeper cells on Earth, and it's the Skrulls
that
are helping them.
because we still have the face technology that hasn't been seen since Winter Soldier.
Right. So, and it's in, what could be interesting too is, in an effort to track down the Kree, if they have put a whole bunch of Skrulls
you're right,
hiding out on Earth, then if that is revealed to the public would freak the fuck out. They're used to aliens, but from their perspective, most of the aliens that have showed up on Earth have been bad. They're, the big alien event was the Chitauri.
Mm-hmm.
And then, kind of once again with Thanos, for their perspective, aliens are horrible.
Hey, let's not forget the Dark Elves.
Oh God. Well, I mean, everyone remembers the Dark Elves so fondly.
Yeah.
But, the only aliens they've really interacted with that have been, from their perspective, good are Thor. Some could possibly say Captain Marvel, even though she's human. But the Skrulls.
But also, how much of the when I was thinking about the introduction sequence is how much does the public know about all of these heroes?
Well, that's another thing too.
Yeah, because Thor is in their opinion, is an alien. They refer to him as either a god or an alien.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know anything about New Asgard or if the public knows that those are all Asgardians.
That's true. I mean, I guess
we don't even know.
They probably do. If it's called New Asgard, they're not really hiding out.
That's true. But like, we don't know if the public even knows who Captain Marvel is. She's been very kind of private, and kind of only Shield knew about it for a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
And there were no cameras at the that we know of.
Right. And so, yeah, I mean, they have, that's true. We don't know to what level they understand the truth here, but people's reactions so far have not been great when it comes to aliens. All of a sudden, it's revealed that all these Skrulls are hiding out. Benevolent or not, the public's going to freak out. And that could be an interesting space for them to explore, is the public's reaction, this, I'm sure, very xenophobic reaction to this alien race that's trying to help.
Yeah, much like the Young Justice storyline from season 2 with the Reach.
Right, yeah.
Sorry. So the group from Secret Invasion, it was the Illuminati consists of Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, Namor, you were right, sorry. Black Bolt, Professor X, and Doctor Strange.
Sure. I'm sure Black Bolt has a lot to contribute to those conversations.
He has a notepad. No, he just says the thumbs up, thumbs down.
Wait, hang on. Go through that list again real quick for me. So it was Tony Stark.
It was Tony, Mr. Fantastic, Namor, Black Bolt, Professor X, and Doctor Strange.
They might as well just call it the Council of Assholes.
Yeah.
Those are all the biggest assholes in the Marvel Universe.
Exactly.
With Professor X possibly being candidate number 1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. It certainly sets up an interesting space to move forward in the future. And, you know, this is a unique movie in terms of the MCU. This is the first time that a post-credit scene is truly closing off one chapter and starting a new one in a way that hasn't been done before. So I feel like coming out of this, they're going to have to do a Spider-Man 3 relatively soon, because with that reveal, that's something you kind of pick up fairly quickly.
Yeah.
It'd be hard to jump in like a couple years down the line, everything's normal.
Agreed.
I would hate for it to be one of those situations where all of a sudden Spider-Man's like semi-retired because his identity was revealed and hiding out.
I don't think they would do that.
I would hope not,
I mean, he's kind
stories.
of... I think he's kind of realized he has to take on the Iron Man mantle.
Yeah.
And so he's going to want to take on more responsibility.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he has like some sort of, maybe he's like left school and is now doing some like kind of sciencey stuff. Kind of like the more modern version of Peter Parker, who's got his own company.
I mean, they could put him in the Reed Richards role. Like, with how much he already knew about dimension hopping when he was talking with Beck.
Oh my God. We haven't even talked about the multiverse yet.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's all a joke.
Well, so I don't know about you, but that's definitely something I was assuming was going to be a reveal. You don't throw something like the multiverse into a trailer and then not have a twist on it. So,
right.
Of course, the twist is that Beck's explanation of the multiverse, or his excuse, is not real. But the idea has been introduced. So we may still yet see a multiverse.
Yeah. I mean, if Tony can figure out time travel after dinner.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyone can figure out dimension hopping.
And maybe that'll be...
Maybe even a teenage kid.
Maybe a teenage kid, and maybe they'll be part of Ant-Man, maybe they'll be part of Doctor Strange, maybe part of the Fantastic Four. We don't yet know.
Yeah.
I don't know, any other...
I do want to say I
thoughts?
have maybe my new favorite comedic moment in all of the MCU in this movie. When Peter's on the plane with Martin Starr, and he's talking about the blip. He's like, "Oh yeah, I thought my wife had blipped, but I found out later that she had just run off with her yoga instructor. We had a fake funeral for her and everything. I mean, the funeral wasn't fake. The emotions were."
Martin Starr is so funny in this movie.
Both him and the other teacher have a great dynamic going on.
I had it up. That's the Grease 2 cast list. JB Smoove. Yeah, they're really, really funny all the way through it.
I do wish we would have gotten Hannibal Buress in there somewhere.
Yeah, he was great in the last one.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of characters to come back around. Like, we didn't have Donald Glover's character.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting him to come back.
But he might come back in some capacity, right? Like, there's still players on the table that weren't addressed in this movie that can come back again, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and the thing that I mentioned during the previous part was that there is a trans actor in this movie, which is cool.
Oh, whom?
He's never given a name, and I'm trying to see if I can look him up right now. He's the kind of the shorter kid, Dark hair. It's always wearing a leather jacket when they're on the trip.
Okay. Is it Michael Shannon?
Yes.
Nice.
It's good old Michael Shannon, chameleon at large.
Oh, that's the other rumor. Is when Peter is with Fury and Maria Hill, there's that third guy, Dimitri, and a lot of people think that he is going to be the chameleon.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Is that character name the chameleon?
I think Dimitri's real name is the chameleon. Sorry, other way around.
The chameleon's real name is Dimitri?
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, Zach Barak was the actor.
Okay.
And the character's name is Zach. But yeah, I mean, I love it. He's just thrown in there. No mention of it. Just exists, which is great.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, baby steps in the right
steps.
way.
We'll take baby steps. Maybe we get some bigger ones.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize that could be really cool.
What?
Just reading one sentence thing on here. The chameleon, commonly depicted as a master of disguise and the half brother of Kraven the Hunter.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would really like to see Kraven thrown in there.
I would really love to see Kraven. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to play him?
Michael Shannon, obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah.
The true man of mystery.
I feel like there was another. I feel like there's someone else that was thrown out at one point, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah. That we'll talk about that next week.
Hugh Jackman.
Yes. Huge Jackman.
I think actually that would be good casting. He wouldn't do it, but it'd be good.
I don't think he's I think he's too, but he doesn't have like the leanness.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, the man's fit, but I think it's not quite.
Yeah, he can bulk up really well, but I don't think he has the like, because Craven's kind of like he kind of has the body of a triath or what's the 10 one? The decathlon. Decathlete, yeah.
I mean, Luke Evans doesn't have the body, but I love Luke Evans.
Yeah,
and he can sing. And
are there
Craven's Gaston-esque.
Yeah, are there any Chris's that we still need to check off the list? Pine, but no, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I mean, Pine has been in a Marvel movie at this point.
Which one?
He was Spider-Man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
but it's not
right,
an MCU film.
Mm-hmm.
There are other hot Chris's out there we can cast. I'm
yes, sure. but we will come back. What are you guys? Who would you guys cast?
Who would you cast as Kraven the Hunter? Yeah, I would love to know that. So I think we'll probably skip Bat Plugs this week.
Okay,
if that works for you, because we've gone on decently long.
Yeah,
on our two main topics here. But I just had one quick note from friends. I was chatting with Ashley Clark this morning, and she got this really awesome tattoo that has the Jason Todd logo on it, like the Red Hood kind of Batman-esque logo. And she was saying that the challenge is people ask her, like, "Oh, is that Batman?" And she has to be like, well, "Yeah, basically." Mm-hmm. But her question to us was, how would you describe Jason Todd the character to someone who doesn't know really anything about comics? Like, they know who Batman is, they have an idea who Robin is. How do you really quickly explain who Jason Todd is?
I would go the spoiler-free route and just say that he's the second Robin after Nightwing leaves.
Okay.
Or after Dick Grayson leaves.
Okay, maybe say like, oh, he's the second Robin after Dick Grayson, and like he ultimately took on a different persona called the Red Hood, and that's his logo.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't even go that far. I'd probably just say he's the second Robin. And then if they have any other follow-up questions, then I will tread around that.
Okay, yeah, because I feel like if they're looking at a Batman-esque logo and they're like, oh, that's the logo for Jason Todd, the second Robin, they'd be like, why does Robin have a Batman logo?
If it's the logo, then I would just say, oh, no, that's the Red Hood. He's a Batman character.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I guess it's a good way to kind of go spoiler-free as much as you can.
Yeah.
Because that character does have a very complicated history, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. It's like, it would be hard to even point out who the Winter Soldier is to people who have like casually seen the MCU films. Mm-hmm. They'd be like, which guy? The guy with the robot arm and the long hair.
The really attractive one.
The really hot guy? That one really hot guy?
Yeah. No. The other one.
The other one.
Yeah.
He's not named Chris.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. You're trying to explain to Gwyneth Paltrow who he is. Yeah. She has no idea.
He's not Chris. No, he doesn't have a goatee.
No. He's not Is he English? He's not English. Is he English?
No, he's American.
Sebastian Stan, is he American?
Yeah. I think he's also like a Northeasterner. I feel like he also has kind of that like Boston, New York accent.
Oh, okay, the Mid-Atlantic accent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. Mm-hmm. But no, okay, that's a good way of describing the Red Hood. Just vague as possible.
Ashley Cook also sent me a message earlier this morning about it was some fan art of the Bat family, the Bat kids.
Yeah.
And the art made me just think of if they redid the Brady Bunch, but with the Bat family, and how just wonderful that would be.
Oh my god. Oh, we're gonna have to do something with that at some point because that sounds fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, but I think should we do it? Should that wrap it?
Let's wrap
Should we
it.
stop? Should we end? Should we go?
Goodbye.
Far from home.
Yes.
All right.
Get me out of here.
Yes, if you have more thoughts on Spider-Man Far From Home, if you got a chance to see it after this podcast came out, send us your messages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Gmail. We are at Timm Talk Pod. We'll read it out on the next episode. Or if you just have general questions like Ashley did about Jason Todd or any and all things.
Yeah, and tell us your casting for Kraven.
Yes, I would love to hear people's suggestions on that. Cameron, where can they find you?
If you want to see my art, you can find that at cameron.dexter. If you want to see my newly tanned, not sunburned face anymore, you can find that at camdexter_adventures.
I mean, it has settled into a very luxurious tan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It took a while and a lot of peeling.
Yeah.
It was very gross. I felt like a chameleon.
But you're like a butterfly.
Yes.
You have shed your chrysalis, and you are beautiful and flapping about.
Yes. And it just felt so gross.
God, I bet it's always nasty.
Where can they find you, Chris?
I am at Lordifer on Twitter and mostly Instagram. I'm finally posting a few more things.
You are.
We had so much fun on the 4th of July.
I did a whole photo shoot for you.
Yeah, we went out with our friend Shane and some other friends of ours. We ended up at the beach and we did an impromptu boy band style photo shoot.
Yes.
So you can see bits of that on both of our Instagrams. They are fantastic.
It's very fun.
It's so beautiful. Super fun. But yeah, it's that's it. Spider-Man.
Yes.
He swings.
Yes.
It's good.
He shoots. He scoots. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye.